everybody. Welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. That's right. It's Monday, 8 o'clock. It's December. We're in December 7th. I'm going to talk about my weekend really quick and then get to my guest. Friday night, I stayed home. There's not much to do these days. And I said, I'm going to watch my friend Don Most from Happy Days in a wonderful movie called Lost Heart, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's a must-see. It's a family movie. He plays a pastor, and he even gets to sing a little bit in the movie. But there's no cursing, there's no violence. It's something that you can watch with the whole family, and it's a feel-good movie. Made me laugh, made me cry. Really, really great movie. So watch it when you get a chance. Lost Heart, Amazon Prime. Saturday night, my girl Kristen Tinsley, we celebrated her 40th birthday at Coasters, and a few of us got up and did some stand-up comedy, and wore my mask the entire time except when I got up, and practiced social distancing, and we stayed safe. So that was a great time. And then yesterday, Sunday, another relaxing day. I did laundry, very exciting. And then I did some voiceover work. So I was happy about that. And that was my weekend. I hope everyone had a great weekend too. But let me get to my guest, because my time goes very fast. Hello, Alexis Tandon is watching, and Brian Guth from Ohio. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm here with Peter Mark Jacobson. He is an executive producer. He's a writer. He's a director. He's an actor. The man even sings. Hello, Peter. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, how are you?
I'm
doing
fine.
Great. I can't go anywhere, but it's great.
This is the next best thing, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. Let's just get into it. You're a nice Jewish boy from Flushing, Queens.
That's right.
And I myself grew up in Queens. I grew up in Bayside.
Oh, sure.
And my mom lives in Flushing as we speak. She's in Flushing. She's not far from Queens College, my mom. She's right off Jewel Avenue.
Right around there.
Yeah, right around there. And you went to Hillcrest High School, which had a specialized theater program that you actually had to audition for. And I heard you were the lead in all the musicals there. Is that true?
Well, I did my share. I was very lucky, because to go to school at that time in New York and go to a public school, and your friend Alexis was part of the program too.
Yes.
You got to go half the day to theater classes where you learned everything from scene study to lighting design to costume design to scenic design. You got a really good background of pre-college classes or wherever you're going to go. So I was very, very lucky, because I got to do it all.
Wow, that's great. Well, yes, you mentioned we have a mutual friend, Alexis Tandon, who went to school with you and Fran, and you and I actually met 5 years ago when I was with Alexis. We went on the Cancer Schmancer cruise. And we had a wonderful time. Patty LaPone was there, and she was so sweet. And it was such a special event, because I think it was Fran's first Cancer Schmancer cruise, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. It was an amazing event. We had so many people there, and we had to do it this year virtually, because you couldn't go on a cruise. But still, they did really well, and a lot of people came, and they had amazing stars. They had Bette Midler, and I think who else was on it? I forgot, but they're really. It was a while ago. I'm at that age where if it's not happening right now, it's just gone. But,
I feel you. I hear you. But it was a lovely event, and it was great meeting you. And I know Alexis talked so highly of you and Fran, and how what wonderful people you are, and what great memories she has, in school. But you actually started out in commercials. And if I'm not mistaken, your first commercial was a Jell-O commercial when you were like 6 years old?
Yeah. Wow. You did your research.
I
was in summer camp.
Yeah. Where was it? Can I ask where it was? Was it like
Creative
upstate
day
New
camp.
York? Or?
Creative day camp in New York.
Okay.
And it's a really weird story. Some little kid pooped in the pool. And I did not want to go swimming in the pool.
I don't blame you.
You know, I was like, you know, I'll sit it out and just sit in the while everybody goes swimming, but I just couldn't get into swimming. So while I'm sitting it out, some guy comes up to me with a woman and said, "Hey, do you like Jell-O? You like pudding?" And I said, "Yeah, I was a big eater." And so he said, "Well, come eat some pudding and we're going to photograph you." And so, you know, I was an outgoing little kid and I ate the pudding and everything. And I just wanted more pudding and I didn't know I have to go swimming. And I went home, and that night my mother gets a call from the BB&O, the big advertising agency, saying, "We filmed your kid." I guess in those days you didn't have to get, you know, permission at camp, and we would like to use him in a commercial. And she said, you know, "Yeah, go ahead." I mean, I didn't have to do anything. They already filmed it. And they said it's going to be, you know, I think it was Bill Cosby. It was in it, and a bunch of kids they would show eating the stuff. So I did it, and it aired on I Love Lucy. And I mean, it was like really exciting. And the agency said, "Well, you know, you really should put your kid in commercials. He could make a lot of money for his college and blah, blah, blah." But my mother wouldn't do it. She said, when he's 18, if he wants to do it, but I don't want to force him into that, which was a smart thing to do, I guess. You know,
yeah.
I don't think I'd put my kid in this business. But when I turned 16, I did start doing it again. And Fran and I, right after high school, would go into the city on auditions for TV commercials. And we started booking TV commercials, and that's how we.
You did a lot of TV commercials, including Right Guard and Lifesavers. You did a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
But I know that you and Fran also had to have a backup plan, right? Everyone's got to have a backup plan, and the two of you went to beauty school.
Beauty school.
You went to beauty school. You learned how to cut. You learned how to cut hair.
It was the shortest class you could take to get a degree. And our parents said, you know, kids in Flushing did not go to become actors. They didn't. You know, it was like our parents were scared. You know, what are they going to do with their lives? And so they said, "You've got to have some kind of degree." So we did that. We never took the test because we literally started working quite quickly as actors. You know, when you go in it at a very young age, it's easier because they're always looking for new kids.
Right.
And at that age, we were like 16 playing 14. And, you know, I remember.
I mean, you were babies. You were like, you were 15 when you guys met in school. And, you know, you had this amazing career and friendship throughout all these years. You both work very well together, and you have like great chemistry, and you kind of like the same minds. You kind of like share the same brain a little bit, you know, especially when you're that long. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, you know, you did some commercials, but is it true that you went to Queens College for a little bit?
We went for a half a semester, I think, or one semester, and we couldn't get the classes in theater that we wanted because you got to be older. And we were, again, working already in the business. So we just said, why don't we go to acting school? And then she got a job in Los Angeles, American Hot Wax. So we both moved to Los Angeles. I was still doing commercials in New York. I remember I was waiting to film one, so she had to come out alone. But I didn't want. I missed her, so I flew out, and then I flew back to do the commercial, and then flew back, and we moved out here.
So you've been in LA a really, really long time, but there was a stint when you did move back to New York when the Nanny was on. You were living in Tribeca, right? You weren't living in Flushing anymore.
I know, it was quite a change. When Fran and I separated and the show ended, the day after it ended, I decided to move to New York to figure out who I was. And it was always kind of a fantasy of mine to have a beautiful loft in Tribeca. And because the show was a success, and I was able to do that. And
you were able to. I mean, Mazel Tov. beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful. I'm very grateful. I never dreamed in a million years, that it would be the success that it still is. And
Yeah.
we were just hoping would go long enough that we could pay off our visa bill.
When
And
you moved to LA, what was the biggest thing you missed about New York?
well, when I moved to LA, I didn't miss anything about New York because we moved it into, I remember this little place called Oakwood Garden Apartments, which was a furnished garden apartment that had a
I know
pool.
what that is. That's
And they
right near where I grew up.
yeah, free bagels. And to me, this was like the glamorous life of Beverly Hills. Really wasn't glamorous, but I was really, thrilled that we went to Disneyland the first week I came out. It was, I was 19 years old, I think. And
Yeah.
so, we had a lot to discover about Los Angeles before I missed New York.
Yeah.
But now I miss New York terribly. I love New York.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure New York misses you too. And you have a lot of things going on that we're going to touch upon in a little while. But you did a lot of commercials, but then you got into TV and you did Murphy Brown, you did 90210, you did Facts of Life, you did Dynasty, you did a lot of shows. But you made that move from in front of the camera to behind the camera. You want to tell?
Well, I wasn't comfortable. I was always kind of uncomfortable in front of the camera. I always thought I was going to get fired.
Really?
But yeah, always thought I was going to get fired. I was always afraid I was going to forget my lines. I had all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I was a nervous wreck. And then I thought, okay. And then when I shot it, I thought they would cut me out. So, there was not much, and I didn't like auditioning. So there wasn't much about it. And then I would drive myself crazy that I screwed it up. And we got to the point where Fran just said, I came up with an idea, and that got sold. And that came to me very easily. And none of that bothered me. And I came up with a show for Dan Aykroyd years ago. And I said to Dan, what do you think about this? And he said, oh, I love that idea. Brought it to 20th Century Fox and sold it that day. And was an executive producer overnight. And it was like, maybe Fran's right. Maybe I'm better off on this side of the camera. And that same season, we sold The Nanny. So, I think it was the universe telling me, you can be in this business, you can do what you love, but you don't have to have the pressure of performing constantly.
Right.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And the school, I know the school prepared you to do everything from lighting to costumes to everything. And you know what it is too? When you're an actor and you've been there and you know what it's like to audition, to remember your lines, to get nervous, I think I only met you once and we having a conversation now, but I think having that in your past has the ability to connect with actors more than a director who's maybe never acted.
Oh, definitely. You know what it's like. You know what they go through. You know how to help them get through things that maybe are not in the script. To motivate them to why they're doing things. Oh, it definitely helps. Anything that you can, any knowledge is great.
You use the term traffic cop directors. Tell me about that.
Well, there's some directors in town that are known as traffic cops, meaning you go here, you walk there, the camera will pick you up here, but they're not creative, they're not motivated, they're not, they don't come up with things to try to make it funnier. It's basically meat and potatoes. It's planned out. Everybody does what they say, and there are a lot of people out there that do that. It's not how I like to work, but
Yeah, I think that's what sets you apart from other directors, and it also makes you stand out, and it makes the work better. You created an ensemble on The Nanny who everyone was so seasoned and so talented. And when I first saw The Nanny, me personally, I think everyone fell in love with it. And being from Queens, I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And sometimes my accent comes out, as you'll hear. But I just loved Fran's comedic timing. And I was telling everyone, God, she reminds me of a modern day Lucille Ball. She just reminds me of a modern day Lucille Ball, her mannerisms and her timing. And I thought I love the show, and it ran for what, 6 seasons, right?
Yeah, first run 6 seasons, and it hasn't been off the air since. It's really,
but it's running all over the place. It's all over the place. Still going so strong.
I know, it's really an amazing gift, and the whole show was an amazing gift. It was, we had never done anything really, and we were blessed to get an amazing, the number one network behind us, and wonderful co-executive producers, Rob Sternin and Prue Fraser and Frank Lombardi and Karen Lucas and Diane Wilk and Jane Hamill. We had great writers, really, really good writers. And, if you don't have the jokes and you don't have the funny, you have nothing. And a cast to make it even better. Each one a theater actor, and each one studied and really knew what to do with material. So it was a blessed experience. I mean, except that we got divorced in the middle, but that's another story.
On that note, we're going to take a really quick break. Don't go away, everybody. Hello, Grace Machanga and Jen Lantini. Everyone's saying how they love you, love the nanny, and they can't wait to hear more. So don't go away. We'll be right back. More with Peter Mark Jacobson.
Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention Tea Time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move your pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God.
Hold on tight. We're going to Coasters.
Coasters Tavern is located at 487 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun. And that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. I want to thank John York from General Hospital for those beautiful words. I had one of his co-hosts on General Hospital, Carolyn Hennessy, was on my show, and I'm hoping to get John York on next. And Fortunato's, did you like that commercial? Fortunato's Pizzeria in Ronkonkoma is my new sponsor. And you mentioned Tea Time and you get 10% off your order. So remember, their little tagline is, Move your pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza. Okay, so we're back with Peter Mark Jacobson. He is an executive producer, writer, director, actor, singer. And I'm so excited that you're here. I know, like I said, we met 5 years ago on the Cancer Schmancer cruise with my girlfriend, our mutual friend, Alexis Tandon. And, I've been doing my show 2 years, and I'm just so happy because I know you're busy, and I'm glad that you were able to come on tonight. And you and I catch up. We were talking about the nanny, and, I heard that you took a writing class I guess, how to write a sitcom at UCLA. And by the end of the class, you actually sold the Nanny.
It was just about that timing. I knew how to write sitcoms. I didn't know the format, the proper way to write it. And so I went there to learn it and then sold the Nanny just a little bit after that. And the teacher of the class actually came in to meet for a job on the Nanny. So it was quite a, crazy. That's my dog, Donut.
Oh, he's so beautiful.
Yeah, she's a character. So yeah, it was one of those amazing experiences.
Okay, so tell me the story about you and Fran going to see Streisand at the Garden, and you went by train, but you got home by limo.
Well, we bought the tickets before the Nanny, so we had no money at all, and so we bought the last row and like the last section in Madison Square Garden. We started filming the Nanny after that, and by the time it aired, we were working every day. So we weren't really ever on the street. We were always in the studio. We went to New York to do some publicity, and that's when the Streisand concert was on. It was her first one back. And we were excited. So we went up to our seats, which were in the boondocks, the nosebleed section.
Yeah.
And the camera, the Tron camera, went on Fran before she came out, and all the people in Madison Square Garden were saying, Fran, Fran, Fran. We're looking around, who's Fran? And it's like, oh my God, it's you. And the security guy patted us on the back and said, can follow us. And we said, we didn't do anything. He said, no, just come with me. And he brought us to the second row and put 2 chairs there and said, sit here. And we looked at each other, and I said, yeah, but what if they come in the middle of the show? We don't want to miss any. They said, don't worry about it. This is how naive we were. I mean, it was right in the beginning. And they said, after the show, Miss Streisand wants to meet you and Fran. And
wow. Oh, my gosh. Did you like plots?
Yeah, we couldn't wait for it to be over so we could meet her. And then we went back and met her, and she was so nice. And she, was so complimentary about the show. And her and Renee Taylor played the mom, were friends, and she and on our way out, the publicist grabbed us and said, "Come with me," and she sent us home in a limo.
Wow!
And we looked at each other in the limo. I remember we were quiet. We looked at each other and said, "Things have changed." Things were not the same after that. It was really an interesting adventure. We always appreciated it. And we also always knew it was going to be over at some point. When we were doing the Nanny, because they needed us in New York a lot, they would send us on the Sony jet. So it was a private jet. So whenever we needed to get there for publicity or whatever, they'd say, take the Sony jet.
Right.
And, we could do it whenever we needed it, which was a lot. But as the ratings started to fall the last season, we called and said, we need to go to New York. They said, oh, it's booked this week. Oh, okay. Well, we could do it next week. No, it's booked next week too. So we kind of knew, okay, we're getting the signal. It's done. Yeah, had your fun. All good things.
Well, you know what? It was a great run. It was a great run. And you had some great stars on that show. You had Dan Aykroyd was on, and Lady Kazan, and you had Liz Taylor. Really?
John, Bette Midler. Whoopi Goldberg, tons of big Joan Collins, Elizabeth Taylor, yeah.
I mean, it's nice when you ask and they say yes.
Usually they say no when you're doing a sitcom because there's no reason for them to do it. But Elizabeth Taylor did the whole night of sitcoms for CBS and gave all the money to charity. And she was great to work with. She was just sweet as can be. And Renee Taylor, who played the mom, wanted to take a picture with her. So she was really nice and took a picture with her. And then when she called to get it, she called her publicist and said, I'd love to get a copy of that. And she said, well, if you want a copy, you're going to have to pay for Miss Taylor's retouching. And he said, oh, well, how much is that? And she said, $250. So Renee said, I'll give you $500, and whatever you do to Liz, do to me. And she got the picture.
That's great. That's a great story. Oh my God, that's awesome. Is there anybody who you haven't worked with that you'd love to work with?
I haven't worked with Cher. I'd love to work with Cher.
Okay.
I haven't worked with, we never worked with Barbra Streisand, but I would love
Can
to
you
work.
hear me?
Yes, I would love to work with her.
Uh-huh.
Not really. I mean, I can't believe. I mean, there are wonderful actors out there that I'd love to work with. I did a pilot presentation recently with a friend of mine created with Cheyenne Jackson, and he's brilliantly talented with an amazing voice. And right now, I'm working on a Netflix show that Karen Lucas created.
Country Comfort, right? Country Comfort.
Yes, with Eddie Cibrian and Catherine McPhee, and
Love them both.
it's sort of like The Sound of Music. It's a musical show, a sitcom, kind of like it's a real feel good comfort. It's like mashed potatoes. The show. It's just like sitting there and watching mashed potatoes.
And we need that. We need that now. We need comfort. Yeah, definitely.
That's what I like to watch. And Karen Lucas, who worked on The Nanny and Happily Divorced with me, and I worked on What I Like About You with her, created the show, and she's a wonderful writer and very talented, and brought me on as the second, and I'm having a great time doing this show.
That's nice. Are you still doing it now, or did it come to like a little halt because of COVID?
Actually, I said when we just finished like a couple of weeks ago, we did the first 5 and they got closed down for 6 months. And then when we went back, we did it during COVID. So we all wore masks and they checked our temperature, and it was Netflix, and they were so careful, and they really did it so well. They had a whole team of people that just, if your mask was down, they'd tell you, but they were all very nice about it. It was a great experience. So they knew how to do it. Netflix, they did a great job, and no one got sick.
Well, I wanted to know if a movie was done about your life. I mean, it's intertwined with Friends, but if it was just all about you, who would you want to play you?
Who would I want to play me?
Yeah.
Or I guess now, you mean? Oh, geez, God,
Anybody come to mind?
Oh, man. Your ego goes to,
Hey, go for it. You never know.
But I don't know. I mean, there are so many talented men out there that could, that could do a million, would be great. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
That's something to think about.
Yeah. I don't think that I'm going to have to worry about it too soon.
You never know. You never know. Yeah. But Country Comfort is through Netflix, and that
It'll air
that'll be on when? Do you have any idea?
March it'll start airing, again, Catherine McPhee and Eddie Cibrian are stars, and Karen Lucas is the creator.
Yeah, that's good to know, because I know you and I have, we're reaching out through text, and I know that we had originally said, let's shoot for the middle of November. And then, because you were working on Country Comfort, and then kind of like November kind of came and went. And I was like, oh my goodness, holy cannoli. I said, so I just want to thank you again for joining me tonight, because I know how busy you can be. And it means a lot to me that you're taking this time out to spend with me and my viewers, because I know they're all enjoying it.
My pleasure. And we're working on Nanny, the Broadway musical.
Yes, and that's exciting. And you know what? I want to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about Nanny, the musical. So Don't go away, everybody. We'll be back in 1 minute. Stay there.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Why don't we go to Coasters?
Oh, cool. I heard it's a great place. Let's check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh my God.
Coasters Tavern is located at 487 New Bridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222. Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention Tea Time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move you pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza.
How you doing? It's Sal the Voice Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Teresa Canastraci Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Teresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me. I want to thank my new sponsor, Fortunato's Pizzeria, located in Ronkonkoma. You mentioned Tea Time, you get 10% off your order. Isn't that exciting? And I love their tagline, Move your pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza. And I want to thank Sal the Voice Valentinetti for mentioning Tea Time. He's a good friend of mine. We did Bat Boy, A Yankee Miracle together, which, as you guys know, it's an off-Broadway traveling show that I'm in. In the first half, it's very dramatic. In the second half, I'm very comedic. And hopefully we're going to be bringing a virtual to you soon. When I find that out, I will let you know the details. And also, someone nominated my show Tea Time for Best of Long Island Beth Page. So I don't know who that person is, but I want to thank them. And now I have to play politician and ask you for votes. So if you can please Google Best of Long Island Beth Page, click on Arts and Entertainment, then click on Podcasts, and then click on Tea Time. You can vote every day up until December 15th. Okay, I'm back with Peter Mark Jacobson, executive producer, writer, director, actor, singer, and I bet you, from a story I heard real quick before we return about the musical The Nanny, you wished you could tap dance.
Yes, I did wish I could tap dance. Yes, I had an audition early on in my career for Crazy for You. I would get these musical auditions and I could sing, but I could move well, one of those people. But Crazy for You is a huge tap dancing show. And it's like they called me back and said, bring your tap shoes. It's like, I don't have tap shoes. And I said, I can't fight my way through that one, so I didn't, of course, get it. But Harry Groner, I think, got it.
Right.
And he's brilliant. He was great.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Thanks to Robert Mann Dance Center in Bayside, I took tap for about 15 years. And my dream,
you could have done it.
I can tap, let me tell you. And my dream was to tap dance with Gregory Hines. Unfortunately, he has since passed, but that was my dream, to tap with Gregory Hines. And also, just to let you know, for a fun fact, I did go to Queens College, and you and my sister share the same birthday, October 27th.
Oh, wow.
Happy
birthday to your sister.
Yeah. So, The Nanny, the high school, the musical, you have to thank your parents for your love of Broadway, because they used to take you, right?
Yeah, every Christmas and every Easter, we'd go see a Broadway show.
Yeah. And what was your very, very first Broadway show?
I was trying to remember that. It might have been Fiddler on the Roof, the original.
Yes.
But I don't really remember, to tell you the truth. I think it was that.
My grandmother took me to go see Godspell.
Yeah, that was a little later.
That was my first Broadway show. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I was just, as soon as I went in that theater, I was like, wow. I belong. This is where I belong. It's
Home. I'm home.
I felt so comfortable, and that's the one thing I have not done is a Broadway show to be in that I would love to do. That's like on my bucket list.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, like from doing shows, there's nothing like doing something live and getting that self gratification and just the reaction from the audience right then. It's like the biggest high on the planet.
Yeah, it's great. And anybody who's done theater knows it. It's nothing like it. That's why I love sitcoms so much, because there's a live audience sitting there, a couple hundred people, and you know immediately if it works or it doesn't work, and if you have to fix it or not. So it was a perfect transition for me doing that.
So tell me about Nanny, the Broadway musical. I know that you and Fran are both creating it. You're both producing it. You're doing everything together. It's going to be a much bigger scale, obviously, of the show. There's going to, Mr. Sheffield was always a producer on Broadway, and there's probably a lot more characters and staff and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it opens the show up completely, where on television we couldn't. But here, he'd have a full staff of people working for him. We never saw the Broadway show that he was doing. He'd only talk about them. Here, we're going to see a part of that. It opens the whole town of Flushing up for fun, and the people she knew there. And Rachel Bloom, who did Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and got the Golden Globe, is doing the lyrics for the music. So, how lucky are we? The songs are really funny, the ones that we've heard so far. And Scott Schlesinger and his son, Brian, are the big producers, the lead producers. So we're working with the director, Mark Bruni, who did Beautiful, on the script.
What a show.
Yeah, yeah, he's great, and he's so talented. And so we have an amazing group of people, and we are working on the script, and she's working on the music, and we're beginning to meld it all together. And, this is sort of like set everything back because there is no Broadway. But for us, we weren't going to be ready to open anyway. So it's given us time to perfect this.
Well, what did you have an original, start date in mind before COVID hit?
Well, we were going to have a reading with music of the first act a couple of months ago, but we weren't allowed to get together. So it just sort of said, let's hold off on that and keep working on the show and keep working on the actual script, the book.
It's so hard because so many of us, including myself, had so many things going and had stuff booked, and everything came to a complete halt. And we knew that our industry was going to be the last one to return. And it's so hard for so many people. No one has seen anything like this. No one's been in this kind of situation. I mean, I have comedy friends like Bobby Collins, who has been on the road for 30 years, and he's like, I have a wife and 2 kids. Who knew? I'm home with them now. And it's kind of like an unforeseen blessing that it makes you love the people you love more, and appreciate who's in your life, and really count your blessings, because I know quite a few people who passed from COVID, and it's just awful. And the thing about Broadway and entertaining is, obviously you want to play to a sold out house. It's not kind of way you could have every other row and 5 or 6 chairs apart.
You can't afford it either.
Exactly, you can't afford it. You have sold out shows, so you can pay your actors, and you can pay your crew, and you can pay for everything that goes on involved in it. So I know that, I think they said May or June 2021, and I know everyone's keeping their fingers crossed and just saying some prayers, because there's nothing like live theater. And
Yeah.
God knows we could all use entertainment right now.
Yes, Adam Schlesinger actually was a victim of who was Rachel Bloom's writing partner, and he was doing the music for The Nanny.
Oh.
And he had just turned in one of the songs right before he passed, and it was brilliant. It's so good. He was such a talented, lovely man, and he will be sorely missed. And a lot of people, are gone because of this, and a lot of people are being stubborn about this mask thing, and I don't get it. It's just like,
I know. It's a simple thing to do. Look, my brother had it, and thank God he's okay. I have a couple of friends who have it now, who I, gave a shout out to some prayers, but it's unexplainable, because you could have my girlfriend's son who was 37, who seemed very healthy, and he passed away. And then you have my friend's great aunt who was 102, who came out of a hospital. So
they don't know.
You don't know. You just don't know. But you know what? If I'm not wearing it for myself, I'm wearing it for you. I'm wearing it for other people. It's a selfless thing to do. And
it's an easy thing to do. It's so easy.
Exactly.
It's like, even if they find out it was wrong in 10 years, who cares? It's like, do it. They're saying it works. Do it. Do whatever you can to help, and it's not that big a deal.
Absolutely. So, will you be making any? Since you do sing, would you be making any kind of cameo in the musical?
Me? I don't think so. I've got enough to do.
You're known for making some cameos here and there, so
maybe in one of the road companies, I'll keep myself apart. I'm not right for anything in it. That's the sad part. I always, as soon as I could give myself roles, I had a few roles in The Nanny and a few roles in Happily Divorced, and I did a movie in the last few years with Ashton Kutcher where I had a small part called Spread, and having to go through that audition process was nerve-wracking again after so many years.
Did you play a doctor?
Yeah, I played a plastic surgeon, Anne Heche's plastic surgeon. And
and you had to audition.
Yeah, I thought I was being offered the part, and then they said, "Well, you have to meet the director." But when I went to meet the director, there were 20 other me's there, and but it ended up all's well that ended well that I got the part, and it was a fun experience, and it reminded me what it was like to be on the other side of the camera and not having that much to say about anything,
Yeah. Is there anything that you haven't done in your career that you want to do?
Be in a Broadway show.
Be in a Broadway show. Well, you know what? I heard about this musical opening up called The Nanny.
Yeah. I would love to be in a Broadway show. I don't know anybody. I know pulling that one.
That's great.
Something like Chicago, something like that. I think that would be good for me. But
now I'm blessed. COVID's crazy, but I'm doing 3 indie films right now, 1 TV pilot, and I am in an off-Broadway traveling show. And everyone's like,
that boy.
Everyone says, have you done Broadway? I'm like, yeah, off, like at the curb. You know what I mean? But it's based on a true life story of my friend Ray Negron, who got caught spray painting Yankee Stadium graffiti in the 70s, and he got caught. And Steinbrenner, instead of putting him in jail, made him a Yankee bat boy that night. Changed his life.
Wow. I never heard that story. That's cool.
Well, we'll talk about it more because I want to get back to you. But this is a show that it's a Cinderella fairy tale male version, I guess, and I play his Puerto Rican. I love wigs, and I transform myself. I wear a dark wig, and I'm his Puerto Rican aunt in the beginning. Very dramatic. I find my son shot dead, and then in the second half, I put on a blonde wig, push-up bra, boobs out, and I play a real ditzy blonde. And so in the first half, I make the audience cry. In the second half, I come back and I make them laugh. I kind of like redeem myself.
Tour de force role.
I'm sorry?
A tour de force role.
Yes. So So I'm hoping and praying that, we can get out there and start touring with it again. But like I said, we're hoping to do it virtual. I don't know how that's going to work, though. It's really hard to do something like that virtually.
Yeah, we did the Nanny reading on virtual. We did a reunion of the Nanny, and they did it virtually. You can do it. It's just you got to get somebody who knows how to do it, and
Right.
but it is possible to do, and that could be a fun idea.
Yeah, it is a fun idea. It sounds good because we're all trying to stay relevant and we're all trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
During this time, and it tests you. It tests you, I think, mentally and physically. And I know that in the beginning, everyone was freaking out because, especially high maintenance women, their extensions were falling out and their eyelashes were falling off and their gel nails were coming off, and a lot of people were coming out of this gray. And thank God I'm at my age, I don't have any gray. Like took after my dad, thank God. But cutting hair like yourself, I'm sure you were able to give yourself a trim.
I always cut my own hair.
Always.
So I've been cutting it for years, and because I knew one day it would come in handy. So now my friends ask me to do it for them, so I cut my friend's hair.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break. Don't go anywhere, okay? Just stay here. We'll repeat it when we get back. We'll be back in a minute.
Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention Tea Time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move your pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God.
Hold on tight. We're going to Coasters.
Coasters Tavern is located at 487 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. I want to thank my sponsor, Fortunato's Pizzeria out in Lake Ronkonkoma. They deliver to a lot of places, including Lake Ronkonkoma. I love their tagline, Move your pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza. You mentioned Tea Time, you get 10% off your order. Listen, I'm back with Peter Mark Jacobson, and again, executive producer, writer, director, actor, singer. I bet you when you were going to high school, you couldn't even imagine your life turning out like this. I mean, This is like, reaching for the stars and you grabbing all of them.
I'm very grateful for all of it, and I'm grateful that people like what I do and watch, and it couldn't happen without an audience. So I thank my lucky stars every day, and
I also there are a lot of people who are watching who like me are actors, comedians, people in the entertainment industry. I saw an interview that you did about being authentic, stay in the moment, be yourself, and you mentioning that Fran's voice was the cash cow, and you didn't want her to change it.
Well, when she came into the business, a lot of agents saw this extremely beautiful girl, and then she spoke, and it was like, oh God, you have to change that. You got to, no one's gonna, you'll just play hookers, and I always thought that's what made her so special. She looked like, Audrey Hepburn, but that voice came out of her mouth.
Right.
And I always tell actors, don't change what's special about you. That's what's going to make you a success. Always go for that, because there's only one you. There's a million, to dull yourself down is doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
Maybe you won't be right for one part, but I'll remember you for another part.
Right.
And you now also have the opportunity to, with this, you can make your own show. So write it, produce it, edit it right on your phone. So if you have something you want to do and you want to say, like you're doing, do it. The sky's the limit. You just have to honestly trust that you're enough.
Right.
And you are like no one else.
Yeah.
So sell that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like the show. I do it once a week, and but you have to have sponsors. Sponsors cover the show. Because when I was first offered the show 2 years ago, they're like, "Do you want your own talk show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." How much does it pay? And they're like, "Oh, no, we don't pay you. You get sponsors to cover the show, and then if you're in the green, then you pocket it, and if you're in the red, you're in the red." And I was like, "Wow, okay." So it's like, I had to pimp myself out, so to speak. You have to sell yourself. You have to, like you said, you have to be creative in these especially crazy times.
Yes.
And a lot of people are doing that. Like that film, Crazy Asians. I think they did that all on a phone.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. And when we did it, it was different because there were 3 networks. You couldn't really do it yourself. There were no phones or anything like that. Or it was a lot harder. We did produce theater and things like that too. I did Grease. Fran produced it. Eve Plum played Sandy. Jerry Mathers from the Beaver played Vince Fontaine. It was a whole 50s, 60s version of Grease, and that got me a TV pilot. So, there are things you can do. Don't wait for somebody to do it for you.
Right.
Because they're not gonna.
Amen. I totally get that. And before we go, we have about 2 minutes left. I know Fran has a new movie on Lifetime. I saw her this morning on the Today Show.
Yes.
So you want to plug that for her?
Sure. It's called The Christmas Setup, and it's on Lifetime. I think it starts the 12th. It's on the 12th. And it's a LGBTQ, their first LGBTQ Christmas movie. And what's lovely about it is it's just a family. The fact that they happen to be LGBTQ, one of the sons, is just part of the family. It's right. And the way it should be. Yeah. I can't wait to watch it. They showed a clip this morning, and it looks great. She plays the mom of the son, and wants him to be happy. Wants to fix him up. Wants him to be happy. I just want people who want to follow you. I know they can go to you're on Instagram as official Peter Mark Jacobson on Instagram. They can follow you there. Sure.
Peter, you stay right there for a minute, and in the meantime, I'm going to thank Karen and Alexis Tandant, who said she'll teach you how to tap, and Grace, Kristen Tinsley, my girl who's a fantastic writer herself. She worked with Nora Ephron for a while. So I just want to thank all my friends and family, everyone for watching. Thank you, Peter, for joining me tonight on Tea Time. It means the world to me. And I want to tell everyone, have a great week. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Ciao, everybody.
There you go.